Good night, everyone, and welcome to Raw and Uncut. I'm Luis Hart here with Dra, and of course, my son Lee, and together we're the Raw and Uncut team. All right, so we have a lot of stuff to get to tonight, so fasten your seatbelts because you're in for one hell of a ride. Okay, so let's get into it. It's Carnival, and what's not to love about Carnival? I mean, it's 2 days a year when you get to pretend to be someone that you're not the rest of the year, you know? Somebody you're not the rest of the year. So I guess I have to get a costume that makes me look tall, handsome, and polite. I got Minchel to design that one. But I don't know. I was thinking of disguising myself as a priest, but to make it believable, I'm going to need some volunteers to play acolytes. Any takers? And I do mean takers. Anyway, I could play Borokit, you know, but I'll need a colorful flared dress. And for the horse, I could just jump on car and just share her back, you know. Giddy up! To the savannah! No, not to the savannah! To Clico! No! You're going to savannah!
That's her?
That's her, yeah. She's looking good tonight.
So a horse riding a horse?
Alright, I could also play Midnight Rubber. That's one of my favorite. Midnight Rubber. To be the biggest, baddest Midnight Rubber, I'll have to make a costume out of Balize and then ride off into the rising sun, toting the treasury on my back. Double points! I get both PNM and UNC there. Alright, for Old Mass. And that's Dra favorite. Oh, sorry, Protest Mass. Old Mass just play or Protest Mass?
It's protest.
What's the difference?
It's not. We do protest. We have
This is Old
placards
Mass.
and stuff, and
Okay.
no, but it's all themed.
Yes.
And
So is Old Mass.
I know, no, but it's protest mass, and the leader of the band says that it's protest mass, so it's protest mass.
All right.
It's
So
his
I
mass.
play Old Mass. We don't Protest Mass. You know? Old Mass, I'm going to use paper mache. I'm going to build a big tube of hemorrhoid cream and strap it to my ass and paint it orange with a sign saying Preparation H. Serious. You're going to need Preparation H after he's done with your ass. Trust me. How about a peregrinade? You know what I mean? I could try that. The peregrinade is described as a Supreme Court jester. It's easy. I just stick some colorful rags all over my clothes and I'll check some rules for a Stuart Young mask. I could play a Dame Lauren, but how am I going to borrow one of Molly McDonald's dresses? I mean, come on. And masks is expensive now, so I'll need to find a sponsor. So let's see, how about a paper mache car filled with empty bottles, sparkling wine, and all my clothes and belongings I have to stuff into it. I'll call it the Toyota Carmona.
But somebody now suggesting that you should play Guti Mouth Carmona.
Toyota Carmona. Oh wait, I could also make it into fancy car, and I could vomit in it. And I could call it a Mercedes Benz. One time it was very prime ministerial to do that. How about Juve, Mud Mass? I'm sure that somebody's playing Mothers Count this year. It have to be. I'm sure I have a few Mothers Count Juve bands. Yeah, must. I bet you. And I could play Convict and dress in classic prison stripes. And my sign could say, I get sentenced to remand Logan Yard. How about a strainer in one hand, Mark Petrotrin on the other hand, a sign say, we buy fake oil. Well, it would be true. And you know, the upside is if we buy enough fake oil, Petrotrin will actually stop leaking.
True.
So, that's it. That's I know, it's just too funny, Petrotrin. It is, I like this one. I'm going to dress myself up as a big candle and put the TNTech logo on it. I mean, well, the TNTech should replace that bulb that they have in their logo with a candle.
Yeah.
They should replace everybody's appliances.
Start with my TV.
That's what they need
I think
to
use about 2
replace.
TVs. And to remind female tourists to be careful, in every Hyatt room, you're going to put a life-size cardboard cutout of Watson Duke.
No, no, no.
Just, you know what I mean? That's the one. It's a safety thing. You must be safe in Trinidad.
And then all of them could play Mercedes blah.
And finally, I've disguised myself as Colm Imbert, and all I have to do is dress up as a big liver spot. Seriously, dude, you need to go have your liver checked there, man, because your complexion is turning camouflage. I don't know what the hell is that going on. So, and don't forget, whining on someone without consent could get you arrested. So, Lee, you'll be letting me out Ash Wednesday, right?
But you know, it's battery. You
Once
know,
you pay.
people now behaving like if that's like a new thing, and it's always been like
It's always been.
it's battery.
Yeah,
it's an
it is.
actual crime. It's
Correct.
battery. If you
It
touch
is.
someone without their consent in a
Right.
situation where it's not
Man, you plenty woman just jump on your man and whine to it.
yeah, but it's still battery. That battery too. Everybody should get locked up then. Yeah, lock up is a crime.
Them poor police on the road carnival Monday and Tuesday, but woman just want to whine
You know how
on
much
them.
people could get locked up because they whine on the police? And the police, anyway, did the police want it?
I ain't think they
Anyway,
want it.
them just stand up their whole day just watching the woman. That's a good day to be working.
I don't know,
as a
stabbing a hot
police.
sun, so sober? Nah. That's a horrible day for the police.
Well,
Anyhow. So we move on to headlines. One man killed, another wounded in a daylight shooting happened in town. We were in town, and me and Joe was doing something in town, and this thing going on just a couple of blocks away, we didn't even know. The shooting took place at the corner of Duke and Charlotte Street, minutes after the men had left the fast food restaurant after purchasing lunch. Early reports suggest that the victims were traveling along Duke Street in a blue Mitsubishi Lancer when the man got shot by a lone gunman who ran towards the housing development on Nelson Street. Surprise, surprise there. Lee, what you have there for me? It just, I don't know what to say. This blue Lancer.
what time was that?
But like late morning, they didn't specify here. I think the report came out about maybe about 12:30, but it must have been about an hour or so before that, before the incident actually happened. And that one guy was in the driver's seat, the other one was crouched in the back seat. I think one is in hospital right now. Luke Adams, sorry. He's also a resident of Nelson Street. So, you know, Nelson Street, thank you again. Normal thing. How about this one? A taxi driver on rape charges. He was denied bail. I find we should really be denying bail for rape charges, honestly. We should add that on with like murder. And look at that face. Oh, poor fella. I hope they rape his ass in jail. You know? The charges
creepy
against
face.
Mahindra Sukhan, alleged on Thursday last of Chickland Village report. He took the woman against her will and raped her. The 34-year-old man, who was also charged with committing grievous sexual assault on a woman. PC Avinash Sukai of the Freeport CID laid the charges. It is alleged the woman entered a Nissan B14 car at St. Mary's Junction. Another PH driver again, boy. Oh, God, boy. Shortly after 8 a.m., but was taken by the driver to a bushy area near Freeport where he raped her. Oh, God. But ladies, I feel how difficult it must be to be a single woman having to take taxi to go to work every day.
Just living your normal
yeah,
life,
yeah,
though.
you know
You
what I
can't live a normal life. You can't go about
You
your
always have to be
business. You
second
can't
guessing the
mind
car
your
you get into.
business.
I have to, too many guys in there. And sometimes they will do this stuff and bring a woman to disarm the poor unfortunate victim. I don't know what to say.
Mr. Yip,
Other
no,
than-
this is
yeah.
my same hairstyle that I have every single episode. It is the same hairstyle. It's not new. It is the same. Okay? All right.
Somebody commented on your
Somebody
hairstyle.
asking me about if that's a new hairstyle.
Yeah, no, she just bathed, that's all. She bathed. She do it maybe twice a month. All right, so how
Once a week on Tuesdays. That's my sister will say that. Once a week on Tuesdays.
a murder in Digger Martin, right? That's in we area, boy, Lee.
Yeah,
It was
boy.
captured on CCTV. Lee, have it there for me? And shared on social media, as you're going to see right now. In the 33-second video, two men were seen coming out of a white car and opening fire on a group of men liming at the front of a house.
That's rain or hail?
I don't know, it's rain. It's
That
rain.
rain
Looking like hail, eh?
looking like hail, boy.
Only thing there's hail in Digger Martin is bullet.
Yeah, boy.
As the gunman emerged from the car and began shooting, one man is seen running inside the house. Police reported that around 9:15 p.m., Jerome Otley, 18, was liming with his friend Atiba Kwamina at 20. He's also Atiba is 25 at Quarry Street, Digger Martin, when two men jumped out of a white Nissan Tida and opened fire. Otley of Edward Street, Digger Martin, died on the scene while Kwamina was taken to the Port of Spain General Hospital, where he remains warded in a serious condition. Well, you know, if you've ever been to Port of Spain General, I hope they have security watching them, because anybody's walking in and out of Port of Spain General. So, if they want to finish off the job, I hope they have police watching him. Anyhow, gunned down at Aranguez. They have much information on this, but I wanted to talk about it because, you know, it happened right there in Aranguez, and a lot of our viewers are also from Aranguez. So, you know, a man was killed in Aranguez last night. Dave Babwa was sitting in his car, the Aranguez Savannah Villas, where he was attacked by gunmen. The killing occurred around 9 p.m., moments after Babwa had parked his vehicle. Baba is the country's 36th homicide victim for the year. Well, and going. By now, it is more. Because we have to add the one that went on this morning, you know. And remember, we spoke about National Geographic and the whole us being listed there. Did a 8-part documentary, and part 2, they're going to be talking about Trinidad and you know, and how many ISIS fighters we've sent per capita. We have one of the highest rates in the country of sending people towards to go fight for ISIS. We have Lee. You want to play the exhibit from the? We have a little clip of it. Yes, this gentleman here, Islamic Front social activist Umar Abdullah, has responded to the video footage, which Lee is going to play now for you.
Globally, they have emerged in unexpected places. Only 1,600 miles from the coast of Florida sits a small island nation that has produced more ISIS recruits per capita than anywhere else in the Western Hemisphere.
The threat from ISIS is closer to home than we think.
Is the threat of paramilitary group ISIS being brought closer to the Caribbean? Trinidad has become one of the most dangerous countries in the Caribbean.
About 80 persons who have left Trinidad and Tobago, I know them and come into contact with them at some point in time. I started distributing DVDs and encouraging people to join with ISIS.
All right. So when I saw that, I was kind of shocked. But I have to, I mean, everybody give him a chance at redemption. Because you know what my feelings were on the Trinidadians that went across there. There shouldn't be a law back in the country, and I've said so enough times. But Abdullah responds to the National Geographic video and says, "I'm a changed man." Head of the Islamic Front and social activist Umar Abdullah has responded to video footage of the interview with National Geographic correspondents in which he claims to have distributed propaganda material and encouraged young Muslims to leave TNT and go fight for the Islamic State or ISIS. In an interview with the Newsday, Abdullah said that the comments in the video were about his early affiliation with extremism, but he's now a changed man. Abdullah said he has changed his perception on the religion and urges other Muslims who may be considering joining the organization to think twice and take Islam seriously. Now, I had posted about this on my Facebook, right? And I must say, the feedback I got from a lot of Muslims is that they were shocked, you know. But I hope that Umar Abdullah is a man of his word. He really has changed. And maybe he could start going out there and actively and more openly trying to dissuade, you know, young Muslim men from putting their lives on the lines, you know, and going out and joining ISIS. Right. So we move on. We want to talk about the cutting down we wetlands the Mill Road. What do you think? We need that highway.
I don't think they need. I mean, it's not like they have a dense population. Or I mean, why you need to cut down the forest reserve, the reserve land for it?
The Repo Savannah.
I don't
I
see.
mean, they got an injunction.
Yeah, but the thing is, bottom line is this, right? They went ahead, I think, without permits or something. Like they went and they did what they did without permission.
No, they shouldn't have. The argument here, look, the argument for the Repo Savannah for. Not having, or against the highway, I should say, is that they're saying that the Repo Savannah is one of 3 locations across TNT that is designated an environmentally sensitive area by the Environment Management Authority. The other 2 are the Matura National Park and the River Swamp. According to the EMA's website, the area is internationally renowned and is unusual flora and striking vegetation and etc. etc. It's also been a place that we studied ecosystem. But NIDCO's response was that it was confident it had complied with the statutory regulations before embarking on the construction of the highway. It also denied claims by fishermen and friends of the sea over the potential environmental impact of the project. The construction of the said highway does not in any way encroach upon the savannas as is being asserted in some quarters. NIDCO has and continues to act as responsible state agency and will abide by the terms of the Certificate of Environmental Clearance granted by the EMA. So they were granted permission to cut this thing.
Well,
by the
I
EMA.
actually should really not be commenting on the situation, so I will not.
Why would the EMA give them permission to do that if their job is to protect the environment? I can't
mean,
understand this because this has happened before with them.
The thing
They've
is,
given a-
sometimes you need to dig a little deeper, right? I have this. How you get that? And that's the real question. How did that happen? What happened in there? We have the approval. How that happened? Was he?
I wonder what the criteria is, though. Because if what the friends of the sea, the fishermen and friends of the sea are saying, then they shouldn't really be I should say murdering those savannas, And they made a very good point. Once it becomes accessible by the road, it means now you're inviting squatters and things. Because once you give access, it means you're inviting people to come and squat and go in the land now and build house and all kind of madness because they're close to the highway. So, I don't know. Do we need that highway so bad? From where I stand right now, I can't see it. And I don't think we need to kill more of our wildlife to build road for car. It don't make no sense. Anyway. Thief in a wine. And the reason why I bring this back up is that if you want to find somebody to jam, and they were talking about the marshal had gone on stage and was telling everybody you gotta lock up all the way, and everybody make a big deal about it. It just so happened that apparently this inciting someone to commit an assault. Yes, it was said by the police service that this offense doesn't exist, so they couldn't charge marshal with anything even if they wanted to. But there is a law against aiding and abetting someone to commit an assault. But would you consider that aiding and abetting somebody to commit an assault?
I just think it was irresponsible. I just think his statement was irresponsible. I wouldn't go as I think that because from a lot of the comments and statements being made, people don't seem to they think that this is some new thing. That all of a sudden the police, because of all this Me Too and all of this and Time's Up, that all of a sudden now the police said, no, it has been a law for a while. It is battery. Don't do it.
The police are saying anytime someone says by word or by action that they do not wish to engage in that physical transaction, then the other party who is at the time engaging in that activity should stop immediately. If they should continue, the law states it is a case for assault and they'll be charged. But as far as them being able to lock up marshal or maybe any performer for going on stage and saying,
I don't think
jam and wine and jam and wine and whatever.
I don't think that he is inciting violence.
But does it mean that every time we say jam and wine, we have to say get permission?
Listen, well, that's another conversation that you need to have with Tat. Because they on a whole other level right now, coming down on Charles Marshall. And if they start to pull them songs off, if you want to pull his song off the radio, then you're going to have to go through everybody catalog and all them urban stations will have nothing to play. Nothing.
Ridiculous now, man. Jesus.
All them old calypsos will have to come off
ridiculous. Too. Yeah, it is just ridiculous. It is, I don't like any form of censorship. None. Understand? Because I never agree with the guidelines. I know, and only one set of people, only one kind of people get input into that, and that's the prudes and the PCs, the politically correct ones. Understand? They already asked the general population what they feel, what they think. Why they ask? I should have other people telling me what I should be listening to. And especially if I ain't getting no say in it. I want to know who's the one to come up with these guidelines that they're following. Right? We gotta be very careful. Censorship is always the first step towards losing your civil rights. Always. And if you look at the history of most of these communist countries, the first thing they start doing is tackling the radio stations and trying to shut them up. Tackling the music, trying to shut them up. Always against censorship. It's a very slippery road.
So it started in Venezuela.
Yeah, that's exactly how it started. How it started in Cuba, how it started in Russia. That's all the first step. That is step number one. What it is they're doing right now. So I want everybody to open their mouth and tell that, to chill out. Anyhow, so let's move on. And we end up with sex in the city. At least sex. It's good. Even city or otherwise, But so we're gonna talk about what went on because we ran out of time. So I want to skip to our closing bit with Sarah Jessica Parker. Went on a show with Ellen DeGeneres, and they're talking about the role of Samantha in Sex and the City, in the Sex and the City the third edition of it. And guess who she asked to play? The sluttiest woman of the four of them, right? Roll individually.
Yes. A mourning process. Yes. And then perhaps we'll be able to consider, say, for instance, you playing Samantha.
Yeah. It's so me. Yeah. That's who I identify with on that show.
That's if you could be any character. Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
That is me. I am a sexual beast.
It's. And then you like to talk about it a lot,
I talk
right?
about it a lot. I do it a lot.
Salty language.
Yeah. This is a facade. When you meet me as a real person out in the world, this is my talk show persona.
So yes, she asked like the biggest lesbian there is if she wanted to play Samantha from Sex and the City. That was Kim Cantrell's part. Who like the biggest slut there is, the biggest mananizer. You understand? Yeah, but I think Ellen DeGeneres would fit the part, right, Lee? I'm not a big fan of Sex and the City.
Nah, I never watch it. I never watch the series. I never watch the movies.
So our guest tonight is Val from Lost Tribe.
The Lost Tribe.
The Lost Tribe, sorry. And he's gonna come in. He's real cool. He always has a lot of opinions and stuff. And we're going to be bringing him in just a bit. So Lee, what are you thinking about all this lowering down music and thing in party and all of that? I mean,
I don't know.
What's your opinion on that?
Sometimes does the music have to be that loud sometimes though? Once you get hit.
You're a young person. You find music too loud?
I don't find so, but I didn't really notice when they lowered it down and stumped, to be honest.
So you see that the difference was negligible. Where you were standing?
I was right by Marshall up by the stage.
But you were close up on the stage?
Yeah, but
you wouldn't hear it from there because the house system would probably be...
Yeah, I don't think I was close to any speakers unless there were speakers was on the stage. But then, because the party just done. I didn't know it wasn't supposed to have done at that time. It was like 3 o'clock, I think. It was probably supposed to have done maybe 4. And it had the next party eye up. So I thought I don't know if there was the finishing stump so everybody could go eye up or what.
So may I ask something? So you didn't know at all about any EMAs, David?
No, I didn't realize that.
You didn't realize?
No. I'm sure plenty of people did though.
And so are you as a young party goer, you don't have no problem with them lowering the decibels?
Nah, I'll say I didn't notice. Once I don't notice.
But you see, where you were by the stage, you wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah. If I was by the speakers, might have noticed the difference.
Okay, so we're going to call in our guest now. He's here.
And you're breathing hard, yes, you run on yourself, sir.
I did. I ran all the way down, and right before I got to the ground floor, I heard the elevator go. I heard the elevator go bing, and I said, Val, that's you?
I was looking for the security.
They was giving us some stress downstairs.
Boy, the security wasn't there, so I was trying to say, I wonder if they walk inside the people in the building. Just so. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to whoever, so you're answering all questions.
To Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah.
Good evening. Hey, and it has cameras.
Yeah.
Let me prepare my body. Okay, yes.
Yeah, I just say, Val, that's you?
Oh,
It's
would
me.
I breathing hard now too?
Go in the elevator. Okay. And then I ran back up the stairs.
Breathing hard from the elevator?
Listen to me. Well, first I tried to run up the stairs that only took me to the first floor, and then I read the message that said the second floor, and I was very confused. But anyway, I'm here. So good evening. Hello, how is everybody? Happy New Year and all the...
Happy Carnival.
Happy Carnival. Yeah, no. That's why I'm breathing hard, because Happy Carnival. Hashtag less than 30 days, right? I can't even do it.
Yeah,
yes.
That's a scary prospect, boy.
It is a scary prospect. Every time I look at the calendar, it's a level of anxiety that comes every single time. Yeah.
So Val, tell me a little bit about Lost Tribe, what you all doing this year and how things going. Is the economy affected you all? I know it's mentioned bringing on a band. I don't know if that's going to affect you all either. I mean, maybe.
Oh, could you ask me all the questions in one time? All right. Well, Lost Tribe is doing very, very well this year, I must say. I'm thankful to our masqueraders, our followers, our supporters for being there with us this year. We are hitting year 3 on the road. So, Clapton, not for myself, but for the Lost Tribe masqueraders for supporting. Thank you. I seen myself on the camera. Okay. But yeah, so this year we are hitting the road with excitement to move 3 years and beyond. In terms of the economy, I cannot say that there's anybody in Trinidad and Tobago who hasn't felt it. We have all felt it, but we have been blessed and blessed with supporters and blessed with masqueraders who are there with us and have carried us through, and we will live to see another year. In terms of Minchell is my Madonna, my Cher, and so
Britney Spears?
Listen to me, honey. So when I heard Minchell was bringing a band on the road, there was nobody who was more excited than myself. I think I'm more excited about seeing Minchell on the road and seeing his presentations than anybody else. So I live for that.
Are you going to be missing from Lost Drive for a long period of time because you're going to be stalking the Minchell band?
Well, I may be going to the bathroom for a very long time. You may not see me. I may be in the bathroom for like
I won't see you at all because I'm not playing in your band.
We ain't reaching there. We'll get there. We'll get there at some point.
Play protest, man.
Yeah.
Everybody else is called Old Mars, but she's called protest.
No,
Protest
it
Mass.
Protest Mass. He knows the band I play with. And
Yes,
it's
sir.
Protest Mass.
It is a carnival with a statement in the ways that it always was and always will be, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's Old Mars. Old Mars is a statement. That's what it is. They're playing protest, man. You playing Mass with OWTU? So what about your costumes and getting everything issues? Because I mean, as most businesses, I mean, I ain't carnival business too. You get your US.
We get in the US, huh? We get in the US.
You're finding it hard to
Well,
get it?
Lost Shop is in a unique position because in our first year, we tried to and performed and successfully performed an experiment called 100% local production. So in theory, that reduced the amount of money that we had going out of the country. Upon realizing that our industry was not ready for the 100% local production.
They're not ready for you.
They were not ready for it at the time. We have been basically making moves to encourage them to be ready. One day, maybe not today,
to
one day.
develop
it.
It's always local production.
Well, I know that,
But I mean, the trouble with local production is, but none of the raw material we use,
right?
It comes from China.
Well, this is it. But when you see you reduce, I suppose the amount of things that you're bringing in from away, the amount of labor that you take from foreign countries, whether it be China, India, anywhere else in the world, it really does help the U.S. situation that we have right now.
No, it does. It is less. You demand lesser U.S. because you're bringing in the raw materials.
Yeah.
The trouble is the to compete.
Yes.
To bring something from China and then make it here, and then to get it ready made from China, cost effective wise.
Definitely. It changes. It's a game that we discovered that helped the industry, but then worked against us. It would be naive to say that in the name of progress, that things weren't mastered.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think what you all were like trying to do is kind of create development.
Yes.
Within the artisan community.
I must say, we have seen it and I am inspired by it. And every year there is either a new producer or a producer expanding their particular project, and we support that as much as we could.
And y'all were doing experimental things.
All kind of experimental things in between. Every different day for the year, I would have a different idea in terms of ways that we could, or the production team will have a different idea of ways that we could effect the mass at either a better cost or more efficiently, or a way to benefit the parties involved more.
Okay, so tell us, how did the Lost Tribe come into that whole conglomerate of mass, and what is who is your target or who is your consumer? Because those might be two different things.
Let me answer that. How long I have here?
Boy, did you just talk, yes?
All right. Let me answer that real wrong, the kind of idea. There was a point in my carnival career, in my life, where I decided I wasn't doing this thing again as an artist. My creative soul was crying. This is not at the fault of anybody or any part of the industry.
And snot and
all kind of thing. Ball, fetal position on the floor, everything. It was a full situation. I felt it wasn't fair.
Ague and shakes.
It was happening. It was at that point. And honestly, there was no real reason. In my mind, there was no real reason for this to be happening. So I went and I met with Dean. And I told him, I said,
Who's
boy.
Dean?
Dean Akin.
Okay.
From Tribe, my family where I was working, before, and I say, boy, this thing ain't working out for me. I don't like it anymore. I feel I'm on my way out. I'm not leaving right now, but I'm going to be starting to do who the hell knows what, something else, but I just feel like I'm not whatever here. And that conversation led to another conversation, led to other conversations that led to an idea that led to what the Lost Tribe has now become. An entity, a force, a feeling, a something that embraced the best of what Carnival is right now in terms of road experience, service, professionalism, consumerism, etc., etc. But paid homage and a nod to the past. And when I say the past, I don't mean dusting off the dresses and masks that they have in Minshall's Warehouse and Barclay Days and whatever like that. I mean a carnival that was a little bit more than what we may know right now. And when I say what I mean a little bit more, I mean with a story. I mean, with a difference in design. I mean, not being trapped within
more
a particular,
theatrical.
in a framework.
Yeah.
So that's my answer to your question.
All
if that
right.
properly answered the question.
No, I don't know what you say there.
No, I understand quite what you said.
Okay,
No,
okay,
right.
okay,
No,
okay,
I understand
okay.
what you mean.
Yes.
I mean, because I've had this conversation with you before.
Yes.
So I know. So in terms of, was it different? Was the experience different? Was it different? So if I want to play MASH, right, beside the fact that your costumes are a bit more...
flouncy.
Yeah, there's more
Flair.
in general. What's the difference? Like, if suppose because I'm sure that there may be masqueraders in your band that might actually prefer the skimpier costume, but then decide to play with your band, not because of friends. Why would you? What does your band offer that's different from the other ones in the conglomerate?
I would say two major things. Lost Tribe is based on showmanship. And there's a level of showmanship that you get from our style of costumes, the size of band, the way that we present the band, that is just impossible for me to get from any other type of carnival. And it's just because of the nature of what it is, the style of show. They offer something else, we offer this. And
what is this?
What
You
is
all
this?
do choreograph
We do
choreography.
choreography. And how we do the choreography is to allow everyone to participate without feeling forced to
So you have to have
practice.
rehearsals and all that.
Well, wait, and I'm going to tell you. So what we try to do now is we try to design costumes that encourage movement. And as a mass man, I know you understand what I mean by that. So sometimes you design a costume that has a skirt, and somebody may feel compelled by the skirt to make movements like this. So it's not only about the wine anymore. It's about a movement that does like that. What I've seen happen in the band, which is something I've only been able to see via experience, is you go to the band and people who are not dancers see their dancer friends in the band maybe doing a type of belly movement, or maybe just doing a Wendy with the skirt, or maybe just spinning around together, you know?
Wendy.
Do the
Wendy.
You
What's
listen
Wendy?
to me. I have so many Wendy comparisons because I'm obsessed with Wendy. She's also one of my Madonnas. I'm just saying generally. And Wendy has a way that she moves and she carries a costume, whether it be a fabric or whether it be a feather. Wendy has a grace about it. So many times during this conversation, I may refer to the Wendy's
Wendy.
again,
Okay.
right? So anyway, there's that. But then another section, you may have a costume that has some sort of fabric or some sort of bamboo or something coming off the shoulders that when you move like this, it creates another movement altogether. And that's what I mean by designing costumes that encourage movement. And what is beautiful to see is to see that happen on its own without us choreographing. How we just try to chuck the fire a little bit is by having our partners, Metamorphosis Dance Group, Bridget Wilson and her girls, choreograph dances for the front of the band, and based on what they do and what they present in between sections and stuff, you know, the masqueraders kind of see that happening and want to join in. And
It's from mimic.
basically, yes, a lot of mimicry. I'm also very, very fortunate to have, you know, a large part of the dance and theater group base of Trinidad and Tobago playing mass with us. So we have a lot of very energetic, very trained, very well put together people who are ready to come and lay on the road and make it all these costumes look amazing.
So they're doing a professional lily.
Basically that, basically.
It's a
you know.
professional lily.
I
out
myself
in
just
the
want to
Lost Tribe.
stand up because I just feel so shame. I say I can't move like how this move. You know? I mean, I might a little bit or a little, you know, but it doesn't always happen in that way. Yes.
But Val, I have one of my questions, and one of the issues I've always had with Peter Mitchell, and he and I have had a couple of arguments.
Oh, gosh.
Quite public.
I would pray.
Is that you know, and I respect Peter very much. For he's one of the most talented people I know in you know, the carnival business for sure. But you know, his issues are that if you're not playing mass his way, you're wrong. And that's the issue I have. You know, is that he has this tendency to reach out and hate on others who he feels is not of a standard that he. You know, and that's my problem is, you know, he and I had a heated discussion on at least one occasion, where he kept referring to the mass and the mass and the mass, and we're not true to the mass, right? He actually told me once, and I 1 year I decided to bring out a Hearts Carnival magazine. It was the first time anybody had done it. Tribe subsequently did it, and you know, and I did it myself actually. Sat on Ash Wednesday, bright and early, with the graphic artist, put the whole magazine together. I was pretty proud of it. When I look back on it now, and say, it wasn't really the best. You know what I mean? But I did it, and I started doing it every year. And I went into the gym. He and I used to go to the same gym. And Peter turns to me and says, Hart. I go, yes, Peter. Are you the one responsible for that magazine? And I said, yes. He said, is there nothing that your family will not do to prostitute carnival to turn $1? This is what he told me. This is what he told me.
I would have sit down and cry.
No, basically, I'm not you, though. That's the trouble. And my mouth had no license. So I bit back at him. And he started telling me the mask. And you're not true to the mask. And my mother will be turning in the grave. I said, don't bring my mother in your mouth. You understand? Get my mother out of this. You understand? I said, and this mask you're talking about, what is the meaning of mask? And he said about masks. And mask comes to the word masquerade. I said, ask where the word come from. I said, what is mask? But what is mask? Tell me what is mask?
Mask is us. That's my response to it. Is the people is a feeling.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My whole point to Peter, and Peter couldn't answer me. First time, the mouth that constantly talks couldn't answer. And the thing is, the mass is different things to different people. Mass is playing protest mass, old mass. Mass is playing rubber, sailor, pushing pan, playing skimpy beads in a costume, playing in Minchell Band, playing in Brian McFarlane, playing in Lost Tribe, playing. It is whatever you want it to be. There's no wrong way to play mass. So what I'm saying is vive la différence. Enjoy the difference choices you have in bands. Play your mass the way you want to play and respect everybody else's choices and play mass however they want to play.
But isn't it very interesting? Like, I find exactly what you're saying there is exactly what validates his point that in an industry, in an art, in a country, you have a need for a concentrated source. And the concentrated source somehow or the other bleeds out into the other people who are playing or involved in this industry in some way, and it affects them. It has some transfer feeling. So his opinion may not be the best because it's so concentrated, but then again, somebody else's opinion may not be the best because it's so watered down.
Don't bang the table.
The what?
Don't bang the table.
Hello, all right. Oh, easy. Touch it next week.
You can bang yourself.
Bang myself?
Yeah. Grab him.
Bang
But it's
myself
so
quite a
funny
bit,
that
actually.
I am done with you. I am done. I didn't know it's so late. Let's get on here.
I mean, very calm.
We're very calm.
Oh my
Very,
God.
very calm.
But it's so funny you would say that because I have been asked to write a director's note to our masqueraders going into year 3 to say something, because I like to talk, but I don't really always say something to them. And the continuing theme that I have throughout this, because I've been taking some time because I can't write it, I don't know what to say, is that the story was not ours to tell. And what do I mean by that? Is that, and it went into our theme this year as well, I feel like if there's so much that I could tell somebody how to play master, and when I see the creativity of our masqueraders, particularly in Lost Tribe, even no matter how much I try to tell them how to play mass, they are telling me how to play mass. They are telling me what they want the next year. My masqueraders across at Bliss and Tribe, they are telling us what they want. Your masqueraders at Hearts, they are telling you what they want. And the mass is them. The mass is the feeling. Right. So the story is not ours to tell.
Well, I was, from what you were saying before I told you to bang on the table, my thing is yes, I understand. So I understand his point with the whole
gym experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what you were saying is, I feel like what is happening now nationally with Carnival as a whole and the culture part of it is that watered down thing, and it's being peddled as closer to the concentrate than it is.
And I used an expression before that I've used and I will continue to use, and that is the word martyr. And it's something that we have to be conscious of. It's something that we have to continually pay attention to and look back to be able to move forward, so that we do not too much
you don't
lose
veer
ourselves.
Completely off of the
You
path.
don't veer completely totally, because there's a whole discussion that I know you are part of right now, which is who owns Carnival now? And I'm talking about the world over right now. Jamaica saying is theirs. Crop over saying is theirs. Everybody are turned to having a little carnival because they want to make a little money and, have a national festival and this and that. But who owns Carnival right now? Do we still really own Carnival?
No, I don't think
And that's the question. And if we do own Carnival, what gives us the rights to own Carnival right now? What is characteristic to us in the first place in our Carnival for us to say, this is the best here? What is going to make people say, I must spend this money?
I've said that 100,000 times, and I've told the tourists, every chance I get to tell them that the difference between Trinidad Carnival and Brazil Carnival is beautiful and they have all the floats and the big performances and all that. But the tourists and them, and this is a spectator sport for the tourists. Trinidad, I always told them, they should tell them, because you can't join a band in Brazil or any of that. And Brazil even have a carnival. I didn't think they had one this year. Because they depend heavily on corporate sponsorship. Is Trinidad Carnival. Come play with we. Be a part of the carnival. Experience the carnival. This is what is different for us and Brazil. And these kind of, to come and be in the band. You cannot
Very
experience
inclusive.
Trinidad.
I agree.
You cannot experience Trinidad Carnival by sitting on the bleachers. There's no way. Or by standing on the sidewalk and watching the band pass. You have to come in. For me, the mass, for me personally, and I've played mass for many years, and my family involved with the donkeys years. My personal version of mass is moments for me, a series of moments where you just, what your costume that you're wearing mixed with a little bit of alcohol and music. And there are moments when you go, oh God, this mass, and you get a little goosebumps. Talking about it now and I'm feeling it. You get the goosebumps. And it don't matter, people say the gym mass. It's not easy looking hot and sexy, if it was all the way walk around looking like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. And if them want to go and bust their ass in the gym and put, and have ripping abs and whatever, more power to you if you want to show it. I don't have a problem with that. I can't handle the haters though. Because your fat ass can't go in the gym or you're not willing to diet, that is cool. I'm not talking about you. Because you don't gripe.
I thought you were talking about me with the
No.
abs. I didn't know. I'm totally confused.
You're talking about
gripers.
Talking about the gripers and the haters.
Wow.
I'll give you a perfect example. You say, you need costumes more covered up. And I'm telling you, you design a costume and if you put it in more cover up, why don't try that? We shall put me fatty bully section. Women are
Fatty bully,
women are very particular. And they're more particular about what other women think of them than what men.
But that's a general thing. But before you say that, one thing I think for me, when any of my foreign friends come for carnival for the first time, I always tell them, observe. Because some of them, you never know what exactly is going to grab them. Not everyone. So a friend I know her since university, right? So she came for carnival. I was at maybe very early 30s. And I said, I think you should, knowing her, I said, I'll take you to different things, a variety of things, and I think you should spend this year looking at everything happening so that you can decide when you come back, because she knew she was coming back the next year for carnival. You can do everything you want to do. She said, okay. And she had a good time. She went stick fighting, she went a limbo thing, she went pan, she went
So she went to do all them things, why she couldn't play mass?
She went because she had to watch mass to see
Why?
which mass she would want to, because she in the end didn't want to play a bikini and beads mass.
But she didn't have to. She could have gone and visited each mass camp and decide that.
No,
you deprive
because
one
by
of
the
us
time-
of she money.
By the time she came,
Such a mess.
yeah.
And
she was glad. She was like, you know what?
Somebody gonna get some money.
At the end of the day, what she decided was, when she came the next year, she told her, and I was like, yeah. And she went and signed up.
To be with your clique, to be with your people, your friends. That's about carnival. It's hard to come as a
It's
foreigner,
such a
as
varied
stranger
thing, though, I think, because
to play mass by
young
yourself.
people will come down, young university students, and they're like, oh, we're going for carnival. And the only thing about carnival that they might be exposed to or be told to experience are like fat, put on thing, juve, mass. And so they don't experience anything else about carnival. And I think that's
what they want. The fed.
Well, but this is what I'm saying. I
Even
think
in
that's
Brazil,
a wrong assumption.
the real carnival experience was the parties leading up to the actual parade. It's a package deal. And I think going to a lot of events and seeing Marshall perform and seeing Kess and these people perform.
Yeah, that's great. But
it's
also,
part of the carnival experience.
I'm not saying it's not part of it. I'm saying that we cannot leave out the rest.
What is the rest we're leaving out?
Well, I mean, I think so what is I think unique and beautiful about our carnival is that the experience of the masquerader has never outweighed the experience of the spectator. It always has a balance, almost like a scale. I do find right now, or at least in years leading up to the right now, that we've kind of been lean into the one side of the scale, like towards the masquerade a little bit more.
The bleachers have been empty for many
The
years.
bleachers have been empty.
For many
Yeah.
And we
years.
need
For
to
many
find
years.
we need to find a way to
I think when
enhance
they
the
did that,
experience of the spectator. Now I don't only mean in terms of the costume, or they have a show to see, or they have a lush tribe, or they have a minstrel alone, but even in terms of the things that she's saying. So one of the things that I'm doing with our lush tribe committee this year is we have a calendar of events. The calendar of events includes not only tribe party, but it also includes all the events of our marketing sections, but particularly things that are on the NCC roster. So they're getting together. They can't make it to the Pan on Monday, but they're going to Pan on Friday.
Right.
Then they're going to Cambodia, and then they say they want to go breakfast share because they're going to be hungry.
Yeah.
And each time, like I'm facilitating, like come to the mass camp, let me pre-drink first before you go to these things or whatever. And they are so excited. A lot of them have messaged, like the younger ones on the committee, saying, I would have never even think that I want to go to this, but now I'm so excited to go.
So
but that's
then
exposure. That's a whole other
That's what I'm
conversation.
saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like you can't leave out those experience. You alright?
I'm trying to see myself to see how I'm looking. What's wrong?
Kendall,
You're looking good.
Go through. All right, yeah.
nice. No, that's what I'm saying. That there are other aspects to the carnival. Instead of going to every single fete and only go to a fete and then
Right.
go and play mass and then play Juve and then play mass. That is not all that it is. And right now, I feel like that is all that is being, and I will have to say the word, peddled.
Well, those things are run.
Don't bang the table,
No,
girl.
I ain't banging. I'm gonna touch myself again.
Yeah.
Those things are run as businesses. So you have millions in marketing that are put behind these events across the board. Each individual person, as small as the party may be. And I'm just saying that
then these
if
people are being
these
encouraged by their friends.
other type of events were marketed in the same way,
But this is what I'm saying. So also, I would like to know why, as a marketing person,
Mm-hmm.
right? I would like to know why a minister of culture has not come up with the idea of doing something like the private bands, private band entities, giving certain amounts of their profit back to the national industry.
one
What
thing
is
I
the
will
national
say.
industry? Define national industry. 'Cause let me tell you
You take
something.
this one. Let me hear you.
Let me tell you something.
Come on.
And, let me tell you something. The only part of carnival that is not subsidized period of the bands. We don't get nothing from the government.
I am not
Pan men
saying
is get,
no.
wait, pan men is get, you understand? And I have no problems with that. Custodians is get, I have no problems with that. You understand? But a lot of people feel the government giving money, grants, and we don't owe, we just bring business. You understand? Why should I have to give money to some not? Why? I don't understand. We not the benefits of any.
Because it benefits the carnival industry as a whole.
But
If you
that is-
give it, because
Governmental-
NCC have
but
no
this-
money and they have no money, right? They have
So,
no money.
a lot of bands-
all the interest holders, the TUCO,
No,
the
you're talking
all
about
of
a tax. That's a tax. That's a tax you're looking to put on carnival. It is.
Luis, I'm talking about
we are-
reinvestment. I'm talking
No,
about
I
reinvestment.
don't care. You could call what you want. It's a tax.
How
Because
does
so that the rest of carnival can have
So
funding.
what about the bands is struggling? You know, nobody. We said I take bank loans. We said you can scream culture from now till tomorrow.
I'm not saying it's just culture.
Carnival is run on principles of business. Understand? And yes, they have some bands making money, but there are some bands that just breaking even, and some bands that catching their ass. You understand?
sometimes it will surprise you.
Tax on these people.
I'm not saying no, I know.
Opposing
I know,
a tax on
I
these
know.
people is.
So we're just
no.
going and let the culture
No,
part
no,
of
no.
it
I don't think so.
die
What
down.
I will
But-
say.
Nobody going and invest in it. Nobody.
What I will
Nobody.
say-
That's a government job.
Where the government get any money from? So why not the entire carnival industry reinvest in the
what
blasted thing so it can grow?
The parliament don't collect a parents fee because we trying to help. No.
Yeah, but Indra, we cannot talk about the whole
No,
carnival
man.
industry as if it's one thing. We need to talk about aspects of the carnival industry.
Because it's
So it
different,
has to be-
different
it has to be-
interest
it has to be
holders.
different aspects. So let's say, for example, and what I was going to say is that the one thing that I have with my experience with the government is that they are very open to suggestions. They may not always make the suggestion themselves, but they are open to the plan. So if, let's say, for example, you have this thought and some of your cohorts have this thought,
But
and you
don't
feel like
go
you
to
want
the
put
government
together
because
something.
they will do it themselves. Badly.
If you tell me, if you tell any mass
All
man
the time,
that he
all
has
the
that,
time.
okay, now we have to give money to the as a tax. I mean, okay, I got to up the price.
But
of
what do you
the
mean? Like,
costume now.
give an example of what you mean giving something back. Like, do you mean in terms of, let's say, for example, every mass band is required to like have some sort of provision where you have to take in young workers or reinvest? Like, do you mean money or do you mean opportunity?
money.
I mean,
Money, what do you mean, huh, sir?
You putting words in my mouth here, Luis?
Yes.
Look,
It's trouble on St. Vincent.
Anyway.
Anyway.
they need the entire carnival industry, the cultural part of it should not be allowed to be forgotten or die. When you don't have wire benders at all around the place and the last wire bender dead and all this sort of thing, that shouldn't be allowed, right? So the reinvestment into the entire carnival is education, it is development, it is practice, it is employment, and it is, even if it's 5% of whether it's a winning or a general profit or whatever, to help make that cycle go so that you can keep the industry alive properly with proper training, proper development. So you saying you want to do local, you're realizing, fine, we can't do certain things because raw materials come in from India, China, somewhere that's not here. That's where you have to get your raw materials from. But you also try to invent, because we spoke about a process that you were experimenting with, right? With the cutting.
Right.
All of those things, if you develop those things, which can then spread to his band, to McFarlane, if he having a band or whatever he's be doing, or generally in the arts in general, because it wouldn't just stay that what you reinvested in and developing not going to stay just in carnival.
But I think it can't just be giving
It's gonna
money
be-
back or giving. It has to be a very thought out process, because from the time you see private entities start to be taxed in some which way or form, because it has to be considered like a tax, then accountability becomes an issue. You want to know
And
where
you
that
wanna
money goes,
pass
what's
that on
happening
to the
with
masquerader.
it. No, let me add something there. So
Yeah,
I
raise
went to
the
India.
prices of costumes.
I went to India.
We're desperately trying not to do. Every band desperately trying not to raise the prices of their costume. They're trying to keep it at least, or even in some cases, trying to lower it. That is a tax.
Yes.
No way.
But
no
listen,
way to
in
cut
terms
it.
of what she's saying, and I understand where she's coming from. So I was going to tell you, I went to India at the end of last year, and I have never experienced a culture, a people, or anybody who has owned the word handicraft like that. These were people who, from the time you reach, from airport to hotel to anywhere go back, they were proud to tell you, this
Handmade.
person made this, that person made that. You go to a jewelry store, you are meeting the artist and so. And let me tell you something, as an artist, as a mass man, I hope and I wish, I came back thinking, Val, there must be somebody you could bring that here. There must be somewhere for you to be able to support your local artists, for them to, and I must say, like, when I think about this, all I keep thinking is about hearts and the back room. As a small man, I went to QRC, and I don't know if you remember this, but when I was in, I'll tell you the story about.
Yes.
I was in Form 5, and I pick up myself, and I say, boy, I want to start to work in this carnival industry. I pick up my whole portfolio, and I go into Hearts, and I met with Gerald, you had Pastor, and Tyson there, whatever, and they said at the time, because of course, stupid, I got in January to design costume, the same demand and make, but they were so supportive, and said, well, you can't design for us this year, but you're playing, master? I say, yeah, playing with you or whatever. They say, okay, give a little words of advice. They say, come back with your drawings and stuff, otherwise we will give you advice. They carried me in the back and showed me the workroom, like this is where things happen. And, stuff. And that was such a monumental moment
I'm
for
trying
me.
to explain to Dra that Hearts may not have been, what they call it, theatric mass, but we were very much all 100% made in Trinidad. You
And
understand?
always supportive, I must say
And
that.
I, when everybody else was going to China, I fought the tide. I remember when Gypsy was Minister of Culture, brought the Prime Minister into the show. All 100% made in Trinidad. It was 100% made in Trinidad, but nobody cared. I was saying at the time that because it used to be that for you to be a mass man, you used to have to have some level of skill. You used to have to know how to make mass. We just do wire bending. We teach everybody wire bending. All my staff have been trained in wire bending and soldering, from making costume from scratch and build it all the way up to big back piece.
But then the
And I
question
mean,
is a bigger one of cultural change. And how do you inspire that love for your own and the love for your craft, the belief in your craft in the first place? When all these wire benders,
I have beat that hammer and beat that drum for so many years. I remember going to the ministers, I talked to the Prime Minister when Kamala was Prime. I said, what we need to do is put us on an even footing, because there's no way we can compete with mass imported from China if we have to manufacture it here in Trinidad. China kill business for us outside too. Other than, one thing that thank God
Yeah,
they
but
can't
China
do,
affect the whole world. China didn't affect
they're
everybody.
creative. They're creative. They don't have our creative ability. You know? But they could Xerox anything they make.
Definitely, but think about it this way: everybody,
You
like
can't
if you go
compete.
to any other production house in the whole world, whether it be in New York or India or Brazil or anywhere at all, the first thing that they tell you is, well, we can't compete with China prices, but these are the areas that you have advantages. Let's say, for example, small amounts of production or a quality this or a this or a that or something else. Like, so we need to find what is ours, and we need to find what style is ours and what is unique to Trinidad and Tobago.
What we need is raw material.
We have a question here.
Where's that? From where?
From on the comments.
Oh God, hello. Okay.
Somebody wants to know why y'all don't go down south.
By who do go down south?
Lost Tribe.
All the way down the highway?
What do you mean, like when on Carnival Monday, Tuesday?
For
Because we will never reach
Carnival.
back.
No, why you don't have like a
next
south?
band?
So you have tongue and south. Why Lost Tribe don't play in south?
I mean, one, we are still toddlers in the game. We just started. Secondly, there's a mutual respect and love that you have between bands, and we have a lot of family members in South right now. You know, the Jagasars, Kalisharana, and I would say that is the reason for me not wanting to go down there in that type of capacity, because I work so well with them every single year. I want to go and take bread out of my pocket.
I agree. I understand quite.
Yeah. I mean, being honest.
Yeah.
Somebody is asking about what do y'all do about what do you do to do things like assure public safety. But to be frank, how do you actually assure public safety? You can't, unless you put in a bulletproof dome around the entire band as they go around the savannah or go anywhere. You can't actually assure absolute public safety because some jackass from anywhere could just have a gun and go blow.
Well, we do a lot of things. Like this rope that I refer to as the magic lasso around the band that a lot of people don't like is one step. The number of security, the amount of security that we have per masquerade is another step. The amount of real policemen that we have in the band, policing the band to make sure that we don't have stormers or questionable characters is another step. Plus, you have the after effects to it. We have a number of ambulance, medics passing and walking through the bands at all points in time. At any point in time when you turn around as a masquerade and something happens, you should be able to see a service person around to be able to help you. And I've seen it work in action in front of me without me getting involved, like by observation, and it really,
there's
thank
a
God it's worked well.
misconception. I mean, that from being a veteran of mass, I bring in mass my whole life. From the day I'm born, I never missed a day of mass. Understand? And Carnival back in the 60s and 70s was more dangerous than it was now. It is now. What? Was real dangerous.
Yeah,
Bottle and stab and ice pick and thing.
Because there's no
My
security.
God.
People have this.
Different
People
time.
have this very. They say when you think back at the past, they sugarcoat it. But I knew it. I was there. I was a DJ. I was 13 years old. Up on a truck, I could see everything. Them the Integris Brass and Ray Sylvester used to play for my father. We used to come out of Belmont, right? We were a Belmont band, and I'm telling you, fight and bottle and stab and steel band clashes. Our band clashed with Despots I on the stage because the BBC was doing a documentary, and we had actually entered them. We were coming from Woodbrook.
They want to be on TV.
And we had entered the Savannah from by Memorial Park side, and they were coming from Belmont side. And jam up at and big meal and I fight that. I
had no security back then.
We had security and stuff. But my mother, she was a crazy woman, a short crazy woman. She was, because we were lining up already, sectionizing to go on stage, and they just wanted to run through the band, and they got stuck between the truck and the chain link fence, but a whole melee took place. The short of it is that Carnival back in the 60s and 70s was more dangerous because we didn't have security. I used to be begging my father back in those days, let's put some security in the band, and he kept telling me no, we couldn't do it. And the day I took over the band, that it was 1989 or whatever it was, I did what he said that we couldn't do. And it's been a standard, to do it, because that has made Carnival so much safer, and if you train your security men properly, you hardly have.
And it gives you masqueraders confidence, and I think that's the most important thing. Like, a young lady coming out there in a costume or something that she wouldn't wear on a day-to-day basis, she wants to feel
Well,
safe.
I should hope not.
I just say.
Oh, we're gonna come in
Other
work
than
like this.
Other than this poor, other than this poor unfortunate Japanese girl who died, we really have no fatalities on Carnival Monday and Tuesday. You notice that?
Yeah.
We have average 4 a day.
You never
Normally.
heard anybody say that Carnival Monday and Tuesday is the one
time
time
they
that the
don't have
country
crime.
works.
No.
You understand?
She's like,
we average 4 or 5 murders a day. Carnival Monday and Tuesday.
Quiet.
So there's a misconception.
They had a good 5 years there where every year some jackass drop off a truck and the truck drive over them and they're dead.
Yeah.
Some asshole
It
on the
was
music
2
truck.
incidents. One was in Minchel,
One
one
to
happened in
Nakandi,
Savannah.
right.
And,
It happened by the
and
Savannah,
you know why that
right
happened?
here.
Because they didn't, and them days Savannah wasn't paved. And that is what sort of facilitated the paving in Savannah. And I remember there was big protests on that. They didn't want to pave it. And I knew it needed to be done because the dust was just unbelievable. And when rain fell, it became slippery. And that boy, one of them who died, I believe it was Minshall's truck. I knew it was one of Davies' trucks. And he was trying to stick wood underneath the wheel to get the move.
One dog.
I'm so ashamed. I'm sorry.
You should be very ashamed. Go into the corner immediately.
It's actually an alarm.
And anyhow, the truck eventually bucked and rolled over him. Unfortunate. That was very unfortunate. But it was, now that we have it paved, that stuff don't really, I haven't heard any instances of anybody running and getting crushed under a truck in a while.
No,
And I
but
mean, I
then
must
too,
say, like,
and then
apart
there's
from-
a lot of security around the trucks now.
Around the trucks.
And then they
And that's
also
what you do
block off
play.
the tires as well.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
they cage the
So
tires.
it has, Carnival is safer than what it used to be. And this misconception, crime so bad, so Carnival, no. You gotta be sensible like anything else. Don't take drinks from strangers. Stay in your band. Come, go with your friends. Very basic things that I grew up with as a child. My father always told us.
I mean, once I remember, to be honest, people, what I get upset about, and some crime might have taken place. I was in juvie. I'm very serious about my juvie, right? And I usually get home a totally different color.
Well, that's Juve.
Right?
If
No,
that
like,
happened,
no,
you have
like-
to Juve.
Head to toe.
Totally. Like, my mother doesn't allow me in the house. She will can me like
Hose
this.
Hose you down in the room.
No, daddy would hose me down after, well, daddy used to hose me down.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Mommy would come outside with a Stereotex cup, a plastic spoon, and say, the coffee is over there outside. Don't touch it. She'll have one of those things where you could just, like, with the tip of your finger, touch and the coffee will come, like a coffee maker thing.
I like that.
And so you ain't touching none of her things. And don't feel like you're going and go upstairs there with your painty self and bathe either. No. And once I was real drunk and came home, I was washing my hands, I was trying to bathe, and I was like, Kevin, my brother, I was like, get the plunger, take the paint, clog up the shower. And mommy came and she's like, what? I was like, don't tell mommy, but I think I clog up the shower. She's like, I won't tell her, Indra. Anyway, it was that type of juvie. So I usually carry a bucket with paint.
Right.
And so, if you're playing juvie and you have a bucket with paint, if you're going out in the road to observe juvie, why the ass you going in your white Ralph Lauren polo t-shirt?
You're
That was
looking
not- I
fit.
was
You're
not
looking
really-
fit.
Right? You going out there with your crew of partners, quite possibly living in East Port of Spain. You come down by Marval Parkway, where a paint band is passing, and I just, as I always do, I had my hand in the bucket and I did this, right? So that paint...
Celebration.
Well, this is how I just juve. Celebrate. So the paint goes everywhere.
And they vex.
And I think it hits one, and they rush me,
What?
And my neighbor at the time, he's no longer my neighbor, picked me up and threw me over a vehicle to get me away from that. But don't come in the juve earlier if you don't intend to get dirty. Stop that shit.
Mass and free powder, that's famous.
Stupid.
Old saying.
You see that line?
Come with your intentions.
I realized this morning I was coming down the road, and I was like, just like how Tree Canal always coming down. You ever realize that's in a Tree Canal song? Tree Canal coming down?
Yes.
All the time. So they must be living on a hill. But Marshall always have that. Your car played Mass and Freight Powder in his songs.
Mm-hmm.
Always. It's always somewhere lurking.
Classic.
But that's
Just
an
stick it in.
old Carnival, old mass man saying. Can't play mass and free powder. What about the EMA?
I had a mind you was coming with us.
I wanted to touch
But
touch
you had to
on
be
that.
real quick on it. And
Yeah,
you
we
had to
had to
just
we had to be-
gently caress that. Not even a whole
You believe
grab.
it? You
Believe
think
what?
you think that if the EMA come in and enforce the decibel control, that it's going to hamper Carnival?
I am happy that it's open discussion. I'm
I-
very
I-
happy that it's
I
open
against it,
discussion.
I'll be-
And against what? Against their enforcing?
the parties, and I know it's an inconvenience, but I know the vibe, man. I don't want to go on here, Marshall. I don't. That, you see, the trouble is the people making the decisions are a bunch of old fogies who really, they want to turn a soca fete into a cocktail party. It ain't gonna work. Part of us, part of who we are, is music is based. I know I do song system. When Marshall at first come out, I used to do song system for them.
Well, the music
and
has
the
evolved,
music,
and
they
the carnival has
need, they
evolved
want
with
that
it. I
vibe,
agree
they want
with
to
you there.
feel that bass. It's like Jamaicans. It's the same way.
I would.
Right?
Go.
Yes, you can go Hilton and have your little, but the real masses, they like their loud music. socan thing is.
And it's because of what we've evolved to. Like one of my favorite things to do is to sit down and look at old carnival videos. And when you look at the old carnival videos, you see that everything is different about the carnival. The music was slower, it was softer, it was a different time, it was a different type of music. Now that you're here, and this is why I said I open with discussion, because I do not believe in saying just like, oh, they're wrong and they're this and they're that. I believe in saying, you tell me why. Tell me why.
I want to see if something is true.
Go through.
I read that a permit for the event was given to the event, that they can have their event at such noise levels until a certain time, and that a certain artist was booked to start performing at that time. And I have a problem now with their response if that is the actual situation.
Well, despite my relation to the promoters on that night,
you don't know.
I cannot 100%. Because I did not even attend Stomped. I was so overworked that by the time I finished, I was like, oh gosh, I can't even make this party. Which I was sad for because I wanted to see Marshall first time for this season. What I will say is that I know and I trust that discussions and negotiations and talks were had on the night to try to make sure that these guests were given the best experience that they could have possibly had. And it ended up in, I suppose, the best ways that it could have ended up on that particular night, which is what led to all these discussions.
My problem really is with the statement made by the group. That is where my real problem is. I mean, if I was a patron, I'm sure I'd have been upset too, but I just found that that's not how you address an issue.
And that's what I know you will not agree with me on this.
I want to know who made the decision on what the right decibels are. Because you know what? No one certainly consulted me, consulted any of the mass men, or I'm sure the Fed promoter decide, have input. Somebody decided that is the level.
But it's more than just the decibel too. It's the methodology going into the testing of the decibel, where it's tested from. If I stand up in front of you speaking now, it's going to be one thing than if I go out in the road and I test it as well. So that's why I said like there's a lot.
But I think that a lot of the decibel stuff was tested again when there was a problem with a bar in Woodbrook that is up a street across from, obliquely opposite from Medulla Gallery.
Okay.
A place that turned into a club. It was a bigger joint.
Right.
Because they would have their music loudly and residents were filming the insides of their houses. I mean, residents who were maybe... What I tell you, there was one video where this guy was like, this is my mother's house. His mother was in her 80s or whatever. And things were falling off of...
I don't have a problem outside the carnival season enforcing that. But I think some sort of moratorium should be done from the 1st of January.
I think if you
But you see, this is why I'm happy that Promoters Association, Pat, I'm happy that they have in this discussion because all these
Patsy
things
coming out and
they
talking.
are coming out. They're coming out to have a discussion because this Promoters Association does not only have Tribe Hats and Red Ants. This does not only have Ronnie and Caro and a Juve band. It does not only have South. It has everybody together. So we are getting the opinions of people from different areas who operate at different times of the day and times of year as well. And what he's saying is very correct. The carnival time and the during the year time should be two different times. And they are, and they should be considered two different times.
I'm not saying no. I'm just saying if the situation that somebody said to me was the situation, if I grant you a permit to have your event until a certain time in the morning, you can't then book your headline performer to start at the time that the permit ends. You understand what I'm saying?
And here my problem is that we are not a finished party at 2 o'clock, people.
Okay, so well then apply for a longer permit.
They don't work so. It's got to be
or
2
whatever.
Have to be.
Let's say, for example, you have I wouldn't even get into the details, but you have 4 different people you have to go for permits for. The 4 of them end at different times. If you all are all governing bodies, why don't your permits end at the same time? I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah.
4 o'clock in the morning should be the
standard.
standard.
2 o'clock.
4 o'clock in the morning should be the standard.
That should be. So that is another issue that needs to be dealt with, right? But there should be. If I have a permit until 2, I don't think it's right. In as much as whatever. And if
it were that way that he was booked at that time.
If that was the situation, if that is the truth, I don't know. I just think that unreasonable. You know what I mean?
In terms of the levels and where they're at right now too, I think just talking back on what you were saying there, the nature of the carnival has to be considered.
It has to be.
We are not a carnival.
It's not like
that the
a-
music is what it was 20 years ago. We're not
I am
we-
not saying
we-
no.
It's changed even in the past 5 years. You
And
see
Woodbrook, and I know a lot of Woodbrook residents complain, but you know what? Carnival was always in Woodbrook. I mean, as long as I knew myself. So this is not like you bought your house and this happened after. This carnival has been played in Woodbrook and Port of Spain. I mean, what, close to 100 years maybe? So when you move into Woodbrook, this is what carnival was. You came there, carnival was already there. Most of them. It's not like I buy my house and all of a sudden, all your carnival? No, carnival was always there. No, I'm not saying, I know it must be hard to deal with the music for carnival Monday and Tuesday and the rest, but you have to think more than, because we are not thinking the greater good, the industry, the amount of people that get jobs, that work off of all of this, the savannah, the everything, all these things leading up. You start to whittle away at this. Yes, you have to sacrifice maybe your peace of mind in your house, but what you prefer, Shalom Carnival?
But let me add something to that. Now, my mass camp
Real
is in
quick,
Woodbrook. My mass camp is in one of the most residential squares that they have there. I make it my business and have
You have a
always since the
church right
beginning. A church right there too. And I go around and have conversations with my neighbors. I love my neighbors. I think my neighbors love me. I hope they love me. And basically about their comforts. So, for example, if I haven't so much as a party during the year, I talk to them and say, I'm operating between this time and this time. How you feel about it? That's cool, whatever. They have expressed their concerns to me about other mass men and other Juve bands that have created, havoc in their lives before. And I promise them, okay, well, we will be doing this, because my lunch park is also in Secret Square. And I mean, I must say, with the conversation, it has allowed me to have a
Let me tell you
peaceful
something.
existence.
I'll tell you something.
Coexistence.
You see what you're doing there? You go and you speak to people. You have respect for the fact that you are coming into their space and look, I'm coming in here. This is what my business is. Let's work together. That is actually how you get things done. It's not you coming there, well, that's my business. That's what I do. We have band here and saying, oh, you don't like it? Well, that's not how you deal with things. You don't come in and say, well, we are moving until that. We're not doing that. No, but we are carnival band. And we make it. No. Go.
I agree. At the same time,
And you address
you don't
the
come in and say,
issues.
turn down your music. You understand?
Exactly.
Because but that.
But I mean,
Because
what
you know,
I'm saying- so if
I
he
was here
came
first.
if he came in here and said, if he just came in and he had a party, the next day, Joanne could come in and be like,
No, but we just.
y'all had a party last night?
But
Okay, listen.
the amount of things that promoters have to go through to have a party, the amount of money they just gamble. You know what expensive it is to try and.
But everybody it has to be a give
If you
and take.
hire Marshall alone, Marshall costing $200 a shop, $200,000 there for he and the band. Understand? Then the rental is another $200,000. You putting out on your pocket $1 million easy, eh?
You can't go and tell the people who live in the
understand?
environs we having an event.
Of course you do, and you're supposed to.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's done. It's done. That's how it's done. You're supposed to, for the EMA, you're supposed to post any papers.
Well, what I'm saying, that
To
was,
get
that
your
wasn't
EMA
the point
permit.
I was making here. That wasn't the point I was making here. What I'm saying is, if Joanne comes and says, dog, you had a party last night, look, we don't mind. But if you could maybe lower the music at about X time, that'll be cool, because at 5 o'clock in the morning, I don't want to hear some girl screaming out, oh God, kya, 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 and sing. Because
But I
that
would like
be
to know
too
that the
long.
conversation is two ways.
That's
Meaning
what I'm
that you need to
saying.
be listening and I need to be,
But
you need to
that's
be,
what I say.
because
So
we
Joanne
are
come
also
and she
a
don't come
Woodbrook
and be
residents.
like-
We are also
And
part of the area.
my solution is that I 100% compliance after carnival between the two carnival seasons, and then for the carnival season, let me play mass.
Okay.
That's my barter. My barter is the rest of the year. You get it how you want it.
Val, you come and you make us run late.
I'm glad you came. Good to have an next mass, man.
Thank you very much. It was so fun. I want to come back.
Well, don't leave. You could stay until the end. And
When is
be
the end?
shocked.
I think this was the end.
Yeah.
We got to the end because this was this.
Yeah,
this
because
I was saying, no?
we're supposed to finish for 15
no,
minutes.
we will end it here because
I don't know what
Yeah.
that is.
basically.
What is that?
That is a clock, Val.
That is not a. Oh, okay. No.
Oh my
We
word.
will end it because we basically did the run. The run was
Yeah,
on the
that
EMA.
was all in there. I had a
So
game
we
plan,
will.
but you come and use up the time hard luck.
No games?
No games. Next time.
Yes,
time.
Yeah,
coming
for
back.
sure.
Yes. Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
And
Thanks for watching.
And everybody, thank you for watching.
Where are we
And
going to? Can I go to?
have a great
Yeah.
carnival and be safe.
Thank you very
Wave,
much.
wave,
And same
wave,
to
wave,
you.
wave, wave,
What?
wave.
We'll be back Tuesday. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. We had tons of fun doing it. Having Val here was an extra treat for me, especially. So have a great one. Don't forget, check us out Monday. We're back at Tuesday. We're on Monday. So I think I'm on Monday.
He will be here
Tuesday
by
at
himself.
8 p.m. Goodbye.
Bye.
Have a great one.